why talk about goals when we study happiness, you might ask? Remember PERMA? An A in PERMA stands for, yep, that's right, an achievement. That's why we have a lesson on goals. Achievement will improve our well-being and help us become even happier. We all know so much about goals already. I know, we all know we need to set our goals. We know we need to follow through. We know we need to create a realistic list of our goals. We know we need to create a plan. We need to create a New Year resolution and turn it into the goals and so on. We know we need to write it down. And actually the latest research shows that when we do that, a special circuitry in our brain gets activated, which is really important to know. You know, people used to know that you need to write it down. They just didn't know why. Now we have research to tell us that there is a special circuitry that gets activated when we do that. And that's why that's important. But since most of us know so much about goal, why have lesson on goal here? Well, this time we will focus on happiness, of course, and use a slightly different approach. And I believe you will be able to achieve much better results using this approach, rather than just checking off your list. So, when we set the goals, it is possible that everything will go as smooth, and on our beautiful path to success, we will succeed and will have no troubles. However, chances are we will have some obstacles while pursuing our goals. Not necessarily at the end of the goal, but rather on the path of achieving our goal. So regardless how many obstacles you run into the path of success, that path, rather than success itself, is what improves our happiness and overall well-being. Again, that path to success, rather than success itself, is what improves our happiness and overall well-being. It is really important to remember this. I want to introduce you quickly to Kaizen. Now, in Japanese, what's Kaizen? Kai stands for change, and Zen means for good. Now, of course, we're talking about good change. What kind of other change would we want to introduce in our lives anyway, right? We don't have a time to go into details of Kaizen approach, since this is truly study and research by itself. But this time, we are going to focus on small improvements. So there are really three principles of Kaizen. First is the process and results. So focus on the process and not only on the end goal is what really brings us in some research on post-psychology is happiness. But so when we set the goal and do not achieve it, what happens is that, did we fail? You know, so the process of achieving a goal and being happy while in the process of reaching that goal is what, as well as achieving the goal, is really what brings us happiness. So it's a process and the end goal. The second principle is focusing on the big picture. You know, when we look at our goal, we need to think about it. You know, what is the big picture of our goal? Why am I doing this? You know, having that big why, big reason. And the third principle is to be non-judgmental. Often we judge others. I know you don't, maybe it's just me, but some people do. We do judge others, but often. But we also judge ourselves, and sometimes really harshly. And as we go through the process of achieving our goal, chances are, if we are judgmental, we will not enjoy the process, but also we may not even achieve our goal because of that. So let me give you an example of small improvement. When I was working on publishing my book, the end goal, of course, was published book. But if the end goal was the only goal I focused on, I would be miserable for years. And because of that, because that was my only goal. My goal wasn't achieved for a very long time. And I kept failing so badly, right? If you think about it, again, if I looked at it that way, I achieved nothing for years. But instead, I focused on small improvements. I enjoyed the process. I was focusing on writing 100 words a day, 3 days a week, then 200 words a day, 4 days a week. 15 minutes research a day until I extended to a few hours of research a day and so on. Scheduling meetings and discussing the topic of habits with my colleagues. Scheduling, attending conferences. There were so many things happening on this journey to publishing this book, and that is what truly brought me happiness. Now, these small improvements, small wins, as Dr. Carl Weck calls it, they help us establish a big goal. They help us release dopamine, happy chemical, into our body, and therefore really make us happier. And we know what's next. Who are the successful people? Yep, happy people are successful, not the other way around. So this happiness helps us succeed and reach our goal. It is truly an upward spiral to success and happiness. Now, let's do an exercise. Now that you understand Kaizen goals and how small improvements or small wins can help us establish this big goal, let's get into the action. So before we get started, please make sure you have your writing tools ready. So whatever you use, pen, paper, laptop, iPad, iPhone, whatever you want to use, it's fine with me. I do suggest right now to use a pen and paper, because based on the research, that instrument gets wired the best in our brain. But certainly you can use any writing instrument you wish. So then, if necessary, please pause this lecture, get everything ready, and we will get started. If you are driving, please do not do this exercise, or if you're operating heavy machinery, as I said earlier, just keep doing what you're doing, and when you get home or in an office or spot that you can do the exercise, then you can stop the tape. Stop the tape, we're still saying, stop the recording and do this exercise. Don't worry, I'll be waiting here for you, so go get everything ready and we'll get started. Okay, so let's think about top 3 goals. Let's think about top 3 goals that you want to achieve. So think about what are the top 3 goals you want to achieve. And when you're ready, let's please write it down. So here's how we're going to do. Write one goal on top of the paper. Please leave some space between each. Write the second goal, leave some space, write the third goal, because we want to have some space between. You'll know later on why. Okay, now under each goal, and again, as I do this, please feel free to stop, rewind, fast forward, whatever works for you, because some people need more time, some less, and I will not wait for everyone, but I will, so I may not wait for you, or I may be too fast for you, but just stop the tape, stop recording, and then we'll move on. So now under each goal, so you have 3 goals, 1, 2, and 3, right? Top 1, 2, 3, and then under each goal, please write down at least 3 Kaizen steps that will get you started. So what are the 3 small steps that will get you started? If it's a materialistic goal, you want to buy a car. Well, the first step is to stop by the dealer or to pick up a brochure. If you want to, lose weight, what's the first step? Maybe the first step is that tonight you may not have that hamburger, or you will have a smaller meal tonight, just tonight. What's the first step? Maybe instead of having a big cake, you're just going to leave a small piece at the end. Write down what the first step, 3 small Kaizen steps for you to achieve each of these goals. Okay, so again, you write down these 3 goals, goal number 1, number 2, and number 3. Then you're going to leave a space between. Now think of a Kaizen goals, and what are the small wins, small improvements that will get you to these goals, and write 3 Kaizen goals for each of your major goals. And just please take as much time as you need it. I will be here waiting for you. You can stop and then just press play anytime you're ready. Good. So this is your action, and it's important that you complete these steps toward your happiness and improved well-being. And now that everyone, and I know you did it too, completed this exercise, let's look at some research.